Alright, welcome back. So in this video we are going to start with something which is probably the last thing in our Blogify app, rather than just apart from just small things which will be like 5-minute things or 2-minute things. This is the only thing that we need to learn new in this particular course, right? Apart from like for the Blogify app, right? And that is to actually improve the user experience while using our app, right? So what I mean by that is that currently let's visit our Blogify app. So you can see my servers running, my MongoD is running, right? And now if I try to go to add post, it tells me to log in. That's great. First of all, it just redirects me to login, and even though this is quite obvious that the reason that this is redirecting me to login is because it needs me to be logged in to add a post. But if you think about it, there should be some error message because if somebody is really new to the internet and he has not ever used it, like it's not possible that he's not ever used it. But we all know that there are a lot of people who are not really tech savvy and not really comfortable, right? So if they are redirected to the login page every time, they will get a little confused. So of course, it's always preferable to have a message up here that says, let's say it says that you need to be logged in to add a post, right? So and another thing, let's say I enter my username as John Doe, which is perfectly fine, and password is ideally password, but due to some spelling error, I do instead of WORD, right? And I click on login. So it redirects me back to login, and there's like no indication about why I was redirected back to login, right? It does not tell me that you had a wrong password or you had a wrong username or anything, right? Or it was a server, and maybe it was something on our side, right? Something was wrong on our side. So how will the user actually know? So that's the kind of thing that is making our user experience really, really bad. Plus, if we go to, let's say, register and I click on username, let's try to make another user by the name of John Doe, right? So if you remember, this username has been used in passport, so it needs to be unique, right? So we cannot make two users with the same username. And I'll try to make a new user here and I click on register. So I'm redirected back to register, and the person doesn't know whether his user has been registered or not. So we know as developers, and as that we have got a console.log here, that the user already exists, right? A user with the given username is already registered. So we know that, but he doesn't know that, right? He cannot see the console. So how is he going to know that the reason that he was redirected back to the register page is that a user is already registered, right? So, and you can imagine there are a lot of places that we have put if error, then we have just console.logged error, and we have not like given the user any indication of why his task could not be completed. So that is definitely not good user experience, and we should work on it, which is the last thing that we need to do in this, right? So what we are aiming to do now is that we are aiming to make something like this, right? So these are just bootstrap alerts, and they won't work just by themselves. We'll have to add a new package and we'll have to work with messages. But this is what the final message will look like, right? So we could have something like this, and let's say when we are logging in and we are logging in using a wrong password, we could display something like this up here, and we could say that you entered a wrong username or password, right? Or we could like do, if we have logged in successfully, we could print this one up here, right? And we could say logged in successfully. Or if we had added post successfully, we should say that you have added post successfully. Or if let's say somebody tries to go to let's say I go to Blogify, I go to this post, and I try to go to /edit. I'm redirected to login, which is a really weird thing. What should basically happen is that we should be redirected back to the page one. So the redirect is a little wrong. But even if we redirect back to the page, we should have a message up here saying that you are not currently authorized to do this. So that we could do through this alert. And you can imagine we could do a lot of things through these alerts, right? So that is what we are aiming to do now. And that is what we are aiming to do today, right? So let's just start with that, right? So currently I have my app.js open, and it is as we left it in the last video. Nothing has changed since then, right? So yeah. So let's just start with adding those things, right? So if you think about it, Bootstrap is just for the user interface, right? It's just for the look of it. The actual error handling is not done by Bootstrap, and what we need to basically what this will do is these are alerts, right? These are alerts in Bootstrap, and using them will be really simple. We'll just have to copy this code and paste it in. But what the text in here should be will be decided by another package which we'll use to transfer errors between multiple files. So you can imagine that it might be possible that we are running into an error in home.ejs, but then when we want to show the error when we are redirecting to show.ejs. So we need to have the message in both of them, right? So one thing you could do, you could pass the message from one file to another, but you can imagine how many passes that would be and how many combinations you can make when you have this amount of files, right? So what we can basically do is we can set up something that in the whole app, right? In the whole app, in all of these files, we will have access to one or two things which will be like an error message and a success message, basically in our case, right? And that will be accessible everywhere. And what we'll do is we'll just simply print it out in the header, right? And that way we'll not have to make a lot of effort in that. You will see what I'm talking about. But to basically manage all these messages and add them and use them, we need to have another package which is known as Connect Flash, right? So let's go to Connect Flash. This is the GitHub for that. And so there's one wrong thing in this Connect Flash GitHub page. So you currently you are unaware of GitHub, but you can just say that this is kind of their official page, right? So, and this is the readme.md, and you can consider this to be their documentation, right? To get it started. So yeah, so there's one wrong thing in this, that the usage is the most up-to-date usage is for Express 3.x, but we in our course are using a later version which is Express 4. So this will not work as it is, because there was Express 3 to Express 4 was a really significant change, right? So we can't just do this. So what to do this, basically we can do Connect Flash, and that's why you can see Express 4 is a really top search here, because people search for Express 4 Connect Flash all the time. So let's just visit the npm page, right? And you can see the usage is actually pretty simple, that they've just required it in here and they've used it in here, right? And then to add something, you just do rec.flash, then you write info and flash is back. So we'll see what these two actually are when we are adding them ourselves. But for now, I just wanted to show you the basic usage. So this is .configure2. This is not something we'll do, but this is not the syntax. So basically, we'll have to add just two lines. One is this, and this one is this. This is according to Express 3 too. Yeah, this is according to Express 3. So we'll have to add this line and this line in here, right? That's all. And you can see they've done some other things too, express.cookie parser, express.session, but we have already used express session, and everything in here has already been done, right? Great. So let's just start with it. Let's not waste a lot of time. So you can see we have a message there, which was console.log, because we have put console.log message in a lot of places, but it was not displayed to the user. So now what I want to do is I want to do npm i -s connect flash, right? Let's wait for that to finish. All right, so connect flash has been added to our Blogify app. Let's run node-mon back so that we don't forget it later, right? Great. So now let's first require connect flash in our application. So I'll require it as flash itself, right? Right, require connect flash. And let's move it to a correct place according to its length. So I'll move it up here. Great. So Flash has now been imported in our code, and we can just simply do one line that in the general app.use and app.set statements, I will go here and I will do app.use. So what we're telling app now is to basically start using Flash, and we are running it as a function because what we are getting back here is a function, right? All right. So this is basically all that we needed to do to actually set up Flash, right? And now, I mean, I could start in this video about how we are going to proceed with it, but that will take some time. So I will leave it here for this video, and I'll continue in the next one about how we can start adding error messages to our web page, right? Great. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.